As I grow older, I'm beginning to realize the importance of franchise integrity. Seeing something that was once beloved, twisted, and amalgamated into something unrecognizable happens all too often nowadays.
For in much wisdom is much grief. And he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow.
It is a depressing realization. Newfound insights come with maturity, and some are that there are beloved things you adored as a child you can now only see as a corpse. Sure, it is a letdown to see a show you love being cancelled, but isn't it interesting that a show's abrupt cancellation will always feel like a more fulfilling send-off than a show that never ends, watching its steady erosion of quality as each year cruelly ticks by. This year, The Simpsons will be entering its 33rd season, and with such captivating recent escapades as Homer leads a rebellion of loser dads against the friendship between Bart and a famous kid influencer, it's unsurprising that the immortally brilliant family sitcom The Simpsons continues to touch the hearts and minds of both the youth and older. So why do people keep watching this shit? More importantly, why did I watch this shit? I wasn't watching The Simpsons during the glory days of Frank Grimes and Mr. Plow. I was born in 2002, goddammit. The show stopped being good way before I was first exposed, yet I loved every episode. And the answer is that I was a child. And when you're a child, yellow people are funny. No matter how bland or uninspired the context. Therefore, for as long as there are children and main channel television exists, there will always be an executive with a death grip around Matt Groening's windpipe, asserting that there will be no vision, no evolution, no innovation. There will only be the next season. Essentially, there are three methods of ending a franchise. One is the perfect way. Another is a bit more painful but still leaves you with some good memories. Whilst the latter is the most excruciating thing you can see happen to something you once loved. Unfortunately, examples of this are beginning to run rampant in most media. For every Futurama, there's an aptly titled Shameless, running another 5 seasons longer than it needed to. Ubisoft seems to be going for the collateral in the number of dead franchises they can parade in new clothes each year. Currently, they have 4, but it wasn't always like this. The date is the 11th of September, 2020, and Ubisoft announced their plans to remake their all-too-forgotten series with a shred of fan goodwill left. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, a gem of a game that was the love child of a genius hoping to redeem a failed project and an ambitious team of eager young designers whose average age was 22, looking to make something magical and change the industry forever. Jordan Mechner became a millionaire by filming his little brother David jumping around in his pajamas. After his last project, Karateka, had sold 500,000 copies, his plan was to digitize individual frames of his little brother's movements to create a seamless animation and implement them into his next project, Prince of Persia. What preceded was a game so revolutionary it made Mechner an icon of the industry, with his name becoming a stamp of quality, guaranteeing high sales. And like an absolute mad lad, after making what was a guaranteed cash cow, he just moved on. Like it was nothing and just started fucking around in Europe making a documentary or whatever. Absolute menace. Hence why the 2 sequels to Prince of Persia lacked a certain flair, as Mechner stepped back from his role as lead designer and only really had a basic overview of future projects. So after the critical and commercial disaster that was Prince of Persia 3D, Mechner was cautious to say the least when Ubisoft asked for his blessing on their newest project. So after some corporate confuckery, the brand new team of a bunch of boyish amateur kids with no idea what they were doing had to stitch together something to impress the god of game design in the span of a month or so. Is this Ubisoft? Oh, shit. shit. Fuck. What do we got? What have we got? I don't know, man. I made some sprites of a polygon man running on walls and doing flips and shit. Is it smooth? No. Do we have any textures? Nah. What about sound design? Yeah, I've got nothing. Fuck, okay. I'll have to do. Bring him in. My God. Jensen, you're gonna have to suck his dick. Fuck. Don't forget to fondle the balls. This is amazing, you guys. You've reawakened the joy of making video games. So off they went, and by some miracle, they managed to make one of the greatest games of all time. It was so good, they made 2 more, wrapping the whole story together in a nice little bow. And in all the commotion, a dev thought it'd be a good idea to make a spin-off, starring not the prince, but his bodyguard, an assassin. Of course, the pitch was initially rejected because who the fuck would want to play a killer parkour assassin? That's just stupid. But eventually, the higher-ups let Patrice run with his little idea on a project set to release in 2007. So after doing all they could with the prince's story and making the noble transition from prince to assassin, they decided to reboot the franchise and reinvent the whole thing. So hot off the heels of the first ever Assassin's Creed comes Prince of Persia 2008, a game starring white male protagonist man. So you know they were banking on it making a fair bit of coin. And you know what? It was actually a really good game with some amazing visuals, storytelling, innovative traversal mechanics, and most importantly, it sold pretty well in comparison to the others in the franchise. I highly recommend picking it up if you've got an Xbox One or a PC. So in light of their new success, they made another installment, but in the Sands of Time franchise, deciding to completely ditch the new thing they had going. What possible reason would they have of doing this?
Congratulations on your success, well done. Prince of Persia sales were looking a bit dry until that reboot of yours came out.
Oh, thanks. We worked really hard.
Well, in light of your new success, I've decided to greenlight a sequel.
Really? That's great. We ended the story with a real cliffhanger, so we're hoping to make a sequel as soon as possible.
Oh, I don't mean for the reboot, silly boy. You're going back to work on the Sands of Time games.
What? Why? They're done. We told everything we needed to tell. Why would we need to keep making more of those games?
Silence, bitch. You absolute scum. You baboon-brained liberal fool. I know a guy who knows a guy who said I can become totes besties with Jake Gyllenhaal, as long as I help his new movie bust down sexual style and goated with the sauce amongst all of the kids.
Okay, but I don't get what that has to do with...
You'll be making a game to tie in with the film.
And so was born the original, and definitely not financially driven, Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands. A poetically named huge turd that completely dropped everything that made it special to follow its true aspiration of becoming a shitty knockoff of God of War. Unsurprisingly, the game was forgotten a few weeks after release. And since then, complete silence. It's been over a year since their announcement of the Sands of Time remake, which was originally set to release on... oh no. Looks like people weren't too happy that the modern Ubisoft standard was being imposed on one of the greatest games of all time. So they pulled it out to make some changes. As of the 1st of April 2022, the new release date is still yet to be announced. So its release being something we never see is becoming more and more likely each passing day. A train of thought my brain often runs is, what if The Forgotten Sands did succeed? Would it encourage the production of more mediocre sequels? Would I have to watch it slowly twist and morph into the annual mediocre soup of the other Ubisoft franchises? Was its failure a quick and painless death for the series, more merciful than its fate if it were to succeed? Maybe. God of War's still going strong after 17 years, and that franchise is just as, if not older, than most of the zombified franchises out there. Though their release schedule is nowhere near annual and has Cory Barlog at the helm, followed by a team of legitimately passionate developers. Words can't describe the feeling of childlike whimsicality I felt playing the original trilogy and the remake for the first time. And all I know is that watching something I have such a deep love for receive the Simpsons treatment would really hurt me. If the Sands of Time remake does actually see the light of day, I'll be picking it up day one. No amount of corporate confuckery can truly ruin a core as rock solid as the Prince of Persia trilogy. But Ubisoft, I swear to God, if you pull any egregious shit like, I don't know, putting in bandit camps to pad game time, I will complain on the internet.